And you're sideways. Yay!
Yeah, I'm trying. Oh, your light is excellent.
Well, it's the ring light you told me to get.
Yeah, mine is much smaller, but it still works.
It's okay. Size doesn't matter.
Oh, well, we all know that's a lie.
Okay. No, 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 no. Hi, everybody. My name is Ben, and welcome to Sleeping with Ben. I'm the creator of the Beanie Sleeper, the head wrap with the built-in sleep mask for sleeping. Anyway, and I wanted to introduce my guest today, who's in bed with me today, figuratively. Edward Sylvia of Edward Sylvia Design. He is a fashion designer, a costume designer, and an entrepreneur, and one of my dearest friends. So, Ed, welcome to Sleeping with Ben.
Hi. Hi, y'all. Hey, everybody out there in Instagram live land.
So, first of all, show us your t-shirt, your
Oh,
bedding.
my, yeah, a little
Oh, look
gray
at
leopard
that.
fleece pajama top. Yes.
None. I wore a
Thank you.
special. I wore a special because I was so concerned that you'd like judge me on my style. So,
I would never judge you. You've got the
thank
beanie
you.
sleeper on too, so you
I
look
know,
fabulous
right?
already.
I
And I
know.
haven't seen it in
So,
the cranberry color. It's pretty.
I know, right? We call it scarlet red,
Scarlet, of course.
right? So, tell me about yourself, Ed. Give us a little brief intro about you.
Brief intro. Okay. Um, I'm 52. I'm originally from southeastern Massachusetts, near Plymouth. I did all of my schooling, undergrad and grad at Brandeis University in the 80s and early 90s, and moved to New York in 92 to pursue a career in costume design,
Mhm.
which I did for many years and still do somewhat now. Um, from costume design, I then moved into being the supervisor of visual merchandising window display at Bloomingdale's 59th Street. And I did that for 9 years. Um, I took a couple of years to have a midlife crisis and hit bottom with my addictions and
Okay,
got myself into recovery and 7 years sober now. Woohoo. Um,
congratulations.
or almost 7 years. We'll be 7 years in March. But
Still, congratulations.
thank you. So sort of with the recovery came a new sort of outlook, and I decided that I didn't want to continue working in a corporate machine, so no visual merchandising, and I didn't want to continue working as a designer where I had 3 months on a project and then I was out of work. So, and I wanted to be more home-based. So I have a studio in my apartment in the Bronx, and all of my sewing machinery and my supplies, everything is here. Um, and I started developing my own label, which is I use the name Edward Sylvia New York. This is my logo, and it's also the label.
Uh-huh.
Edward Sylvia New York is the name, and the sort of business model that I've been developing over the past few years, like the past 5 or 6 years, is a bespoke business model. Um,
Got
and what bespoke clothing is essentially anything that is custom made to order to fit the specific desires, needs, and measurements of a specific client.
very cool. Very cool.
So,
Very.
and it's like because I come from a theatrical background that includes drag queens and dancers and Boylesque performers. I've had pro wrestling guys who needed outfits for the ring. Um,
Nice.
I do custom couture, wedding gowns and prom gowns and
So
evening gowns.
you kind of do basically your menu is really what everybody wants. I mean, if somebody comes to you saying, "I want this," you figure out a way to do it.
Yeah, if it's made out of fabric, yes.
And
I do curtains and sofa cushions or couch covers. I've done those for people too. And the variety is what makes me happy,
mhm,
as is actually, like, I look at it like I'm a costume designer still. My job as a costume designer was I was given a set of limitations. I have a character in this scene in this time period
mhm,
who is going through this particular experience in their life. So whatever is happening in the scene, they have to be dressed appropriately for it. And then I
mhm.
have a specific actor who's playing that role, who I have to take into consideration their look and their body. And then I have a whole groundwork for what I need to design.
That's very cool. Let me just tell everybody that this final design of Beanie Sleeper, Ed and I worked together on it. When I was searching for somebody to actually make the working model here that the run was done on, I had a really hard time. So one day I called up Ed and I told him about my hard time that I was having finding somebody. He goes, "Well, why don't I do it?" And I was like, "What?" Because I didn't think I could get somebody with his skill and his talent to help me on, a project that's not couture. But Ed is gracious and he's a very good friend. So he helped me with this, and awesome. So I got to ask you though, what is it about the process of design that thrills you the most? Is it the designing, the actual designing on paper? Is it the fabric? Is it the person you're doing it for? Is it a combination? What thrills you the most about design?
I like every part of the process. I really do. And each process is different and requires different things. Some processes, some projects there is no sketch done. Others I have to do a fully rendered, full color, beautiful illustration. Every process is different, and that's part of what I like. The variety. It encompasses every single thing I have ever seen or experienced in my life can somehow come into play depending upon what project I'm doing.
I absolutely love that you find joy in every part.
I do. I really do. I mean, even the parts that annoy me, some parts are tedious and irritating or difficult, Sometimes finding the right fabric, like with your hat, was very difficult, right? Sometimes developing the perfect fit of pattern for this body can be difficult. Other times it's easy, but each process is different. I think the biggest thrill for me is knowing that I, to quote George from Sunday in the Park with George, that suddenly he's painted a tree where there never before there was a tree. I make something where there wasn't that something before. I've created something that didn't exist before I put my hands on it. And that is the big thrill.
That's really awesome. That's very cool. I want to ask you something. I hope it's not too personal, but this loving every part of it, did this come after recovery? Did you find this after you started recovery, or was this always a part of your being?
No, I think I've always been excited by the process, and then, and I think what has become a new development for me is, part of my journey down the rabbit hole with drugs and alcohol, especially at the end, was feeling like I'd kind of failed at my mission, like I'd failed at what I'd set out to do. And I wanted to become this famous Broadway designer. And while I was in the depths of my isolation and my drug usage, I was watching videos with a guy that I was partying with, and we were on Vimeo, and I ran across the Vimeo page of a choreographer here in New York, a contemporary ballet dancer and choreographer named Hernando Cortez, and he had a contemporary ballet company for a decade or more in the 90s and early 2000s, and I was their resident designer. So I probably did 30 pieces with him in 9 or 10 years. And there were videos of those pieces that I had done 15, some 20 years earlier that were still being used, those same costumes, with new dancers wearing them. And I hadn't seen those costumes in over a decade. Once I was done with them, they'd left my sphere of conscientiousness. My sphere of consciousness was, I'd let go of them, But here they were in some new performance somewhere else in the country with a new audience of people seeing my work. And that was I realized that I created something that had a life of its own.
I think that's beautiful. I mean, I think it's amazing that even though you've gone through all of this that you've gone through, there are still pieces of you from your past that you can look on with pride and that motivates you to where you are today. I mean, for me, what I can relate to on that is that I suffer from major depression. And before I got that taken care of, I had no creativity. I couldn't open myself up. And the moment I got fixed that or started on recovery with that, everything opened up to me. And I was able to take all my creativity from the past that I knew was there and apply it to now and the future. So I just find that remarkable that, we're human beings, and as dark as things get, the dawn will come and new doors open.
Absolutely.
I just think it's amazing. I'm going to ask, I want us to turn to your newest venture. I mean, yes, you do the costume and the couture. I mean, if you guys haven't seen his Instagram page, please do. The Boylesque costumes are amazing. The last one he did, my favorite piece was the hat. It was like everything. So please go to, is it at Edward Sylvia, New York? That's this tag, right?
Yep. Yeah. That's my business Instagram, right?
Or put that in the description afterwards. But it's just amazing. But I want to move to masks because you saw that during COVID there was a need, not just for masks, but for high fashion masks, for masks that made you feel something or said something, not literally with words, but with fabric and with design. Can you talk a little bit about the mask, how you came to do that?
Yeah. When we first started in lockdown in the middle of March, I wasn't leaving the house much, but I realized I was going to have to start wearing masks when I went out. And I have a very long face. And those little paper masks don't stay on my face. I have a big nose and a big chin and a long face, and they don't work. So I started looking online to see what mask patterns were out there to find something that I could work with. And I found a design that was created by a nurse, and it was called the AB mask. And it had 3 pleats, and it had bindings on the edges, and it was made to go over an N95 filter, right? So it was big. So I downloaded that pattern and I made one, and it was good. It was better, but it still wasn't right for me. So I took the pattern and I adapted it and changed the sort of dimensions of it, added more depth to the pleats and a little bit more width so that it really would cover my face. And it holds, from here to under the chin. And there's a dart, so it really stays put. There's a wire. So I really developed a mask for me first. And I made a couple. With fabrics I had here at the house. I also didn't want to have to wear a separate mask inside that had the filter. And I discovered at my neighborhood 99-cent store, they had these $10 mattress cover, the zippered mattress cover pads that are made to keep bed bugs and moisture away from your mattress. And they're made out of 100% non-woven polyethylene, which is what the N95s are made of. So for $10, I could buy one of these huge, it's like a cube, right? So it's huge, a queen size mattress. It's enormous. So I buy one and I can get like 200 filters for masks out of it. So I developed my mask pattern to have a decorative layer of fabric on the outside. And then it's lined with 100% cotton. Depending upon the weight of the fabric, I use a different cotton, but it's all 100% cotton. And then in between them, I sandwich a layer of this non-woven polyethylene. Everything is pre-washed and pre-dried and pre-shrunk. So then when you have the mask and you wear it, you can, to keep it fresh for a week or two, you can spray it with alcohol, to a little germicidal protection. But you can hand wash it and hang it to dry and re-iron it and replete it It's really simple. I send instructions with each one. So what ended up happening is I created a mask for myself. I posted a photo on social media. Thank you, social media. And friends started asking. So I started developing an actual range of stuff and a price point, and everybody that contacted me wanted something different. And I was like, you know what? My whole business model has been about bespoke creation. Why not do a bespoke mask business model? And so I developed 2 patterns, and I have some examples to show you. So what I ended up doing was I developed 2 different patterns for 2 different types of face and taste, and I collected 125 different outside fabrics, a black or a white lining, and you have I ended up creating a website with the help of my friend Eve Simon from Eve Simon Creative in DC. And she built me a Squarespace website where you can order these masks. And the way the mask website works is that you go through your fabric choices, you pick the fabric you like, and then it gives you options for size, small, medium, large, extra large, and style, pleated or non-pleated. And then you can also choose to have a customization added to it at an extra charge, which then sends me a message, and I contact you directly to work out what customization you're interested in. And you can choose to have, you know, a special color trim, or I do elastic ear loops with a little toggle, but you can choose to have one continuous elastic so that it goes behind your head, or you can have fabric ties, or you can have an embroidered moment, or some rhinestones, or a little embroidery, or, you know, there's all kinds of different things, right? So that people can make a personal statement, right?
I love this because you took a business model that you know works for you and for your customers, the bespoke model, and you kind of went all in. What I love about you and I love about entrepreneurs is that we don't take no for an answer. We always find a way. And that's what you did. You found this fabric that could do what you needed to do. And I think that's brilliant. And it's edwardsylvianewyork.com, right?
The website, the Squarespace website is edwardsylviany.com.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you another question.
Can I show you some examples? I want to show you the examples.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So I'll just lead you through it. So when you receive your package, it will come in looking like this, right? And before my masks are packed to ship, I spray them down with 70% wintergreen scented alcohol and press them on high heat, right? So I can sterilize them. I have an infrared sterilizer. They go into that next. And then I wear gloves, and they get packed in this little cellophane sealed package. So they arrive as sterile as is humanly possible. In the back is my care instructions, so that each one comes with its own care instructions, okay? And I will show you what the masks look like themselves. This is the first one I made in March. And I'm still wearing it, okay? This one was made with a Buddha print fabric, and it's pleated. So you can see, if you have a long face like mine, it opens up.
Nice.
And it's fully lined with my label. I also now have size labels. This one doesn't have a size label. And it has elastic ear loops with a little silicone toggle so you can adjust the fit. And it has a nose wire in the top here that's fully bound and stitched in so it's secure. And when you put it on, it fits like this.
Can I wear my glasses with that and they won't fog up?
You can really pinch this.
Oh,
you can really pinch this. And for glasses, I recommend that people take it and shift it down like this, so it's at the edge of their nose, because then the glasses will go over it. But yeah, this gives you full coverage under your chin, and there's a dart here and a dart here, so it really, I can talk and it doesn't fall off. So that's the basic mask.
That's really
Um,
cool.
and then I have, little options like I can add little embroidered images like him. Um, I have a friend who is Scottish and she wanted her family tartan. So I ordered her family tartan and did a pleated mask for her out of it. And this is my favorite. I wear one of these every day.
It's really
Um,
pretty.
and then the other style is a smooth flat with just one seam down the front like this.
Hmm.
And that's like a batik cotton. But then you can get fancy and snazzy and like you can do them like this. I did this one out of leopard print satin and it has fabric ties to tie around the back of your head like a surgical mask. So
Very cool.
there are endless options. So
Very cool.
that's my little
Yeah.
splurge.
Well, listen, you know what I love? I mean, you're very passionate about it. You're always passionate about your work. Every time you show me your new work, you can just feel it. You know, you don't just throw things together. It's very thoughtful, which I think is why you and I are really good friends, because we think about things. And that reflects on our friendship, about our businesses, about life. And I think that's one thing I'd love for people who are watching and who view this to know about you, is just how thoughtful as a person you are. And that really shows throughout your life. How's Noelle, by the way? Noelle's your cat.
Um,
Where,
he, where is he? Hey, hold on a second.
oh, God, are you going to get him? Oh, Lord. So,
He does come when
God.
I whistle. It'll take him a minute. He'll show up though. He's good. He had a little tragedy earlier in the year, and he has recovered. So
So listen, I want to wrap this up, but I want to ask you something. What do you do for fun? Just a silly question.
I mean, there are a lot of things that I consider fun, and a lot of them are just not possible right now.
Because,
So,
yeah, so how are you finding anything fun at home to do, or are you just constantly working?
I've been using like I finally indulged and bought myself a big new 55-inch Samsung smart screen flat TV
Whoa.
for my
Okay.
bedroom. I was like, if I'm going to make it through a winter in isolation, I'm not watching TV on my phone or my computer. So
Gotcha.
I have a movie-sized screen in my bedroom now, across
I
from my bed, and a lot of my free time is spent either chatting with people like you on video, because I have friends all over the world. So I WhatsApp or I Messenger or house party, call
gotcha.
people. I spend a lot of time talking, and which
Cool.
is really nice because at least it's company, you know.
Yeah.
But I've also I kind of made like I give myself little goals. Like at one point in time, I was feeling this whole hero's journey kind of thing. So I was searching out on every different streaming service, Hulu or Netflix or Prime, whatever,
Yeah.
heroes' journeys, Greek ones, and then there was like the hero's journey of superheroes. So I was watching all the programs that had that storyline, and then I got into a whole period bonnet drama thing with the BBC. So I was watching all period costume flicks, and lately it's been like modern comedy, like Australian comedy, and so I've been entertaining myself. There were many years I didn't own a TV, or I was too busy going out and partying to watch TV or see
Yeah.
movies. So I missed a lot of popular culture, and I'm catching up. Um,
I mean,
but
I
it's
love
still
that. I
it's
absolutely
also
love that.
very artistically driven. Like
You know, for me, it's literally TikTok. It's just that's such a guilty pleasure for me,
I get
and
it.
I can like get lost in an hour. An hour is gone on
Oh, I
TikTok.
get it.
I know. So, Ed, I'm going to have to wrap this up, but I have to say thank you so much, not only for doing my podcast, for being my friend. You know how much I value you and how much I love you.
Right
And
back
thank
at
you
you.
for doing this, and thank you for playing along. And you definitely get a notch in my bedpost. And I want to thank, and I want to thank everybody who's watching or who is going to watch. Please check out Ed, his Instagram. Please check out his website, order a mask, check out what he does, follow him for sure. And thank you all, and have a really great day. I'll say
Thank you so
goodbye now.
much, Ben.